morning, all. I hope you guys are having an absolutely wonderful Tuesday morning. It is 8 a.m. here in Spokane, Washington, and it is a beautiful day today. I'm not sure how warm it's supposed to be. I am wearing a sweatshirt, but it is kind of rolled up my arm. I'm guessing it's probably about 65 maybe degrees, and it's 8, so it's probably going to get warm here today. So welcome back to Shine Like a Diamond. I hope you guys are doing great. If you are new here, I am Elizabeth, and today is Tuesday, which means we are doing tips and tricks for your dog. Today, we are going to be working on a recall. So how many times do you guys have where you open your door, your dog runs out and runs off, and you call, and he does not come? Or how many times does he get out of your yard and you go chasing him and it becomes this big thing and it's like super frustrating? So I'm going to give you guys some tips today on how to have not only a reliable recall, also some ideas and things to not do if they do get out, like chasing them. No, don't ever do that. That's a game to them. They think it's so fun, so don't ever chase. So I'm going to be teaching you kind of just some things to do that might just, help make it a little easier, because it does take time to get a reliable recall, and you have to consistently work at it, or your dogs will never get there. So it does take work, but hey, it's worth it, right? Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so you see him sitting there. If your dog has a stay, this would be a good time to use that and put them in a sit stay. You can start out at about 20 feet away from you. If your dog doesn't have one and you have a second person that can hold your dog's leash, so that you can get about 20 feet away. If you don't have a second person, I will give you a little trick right after this segment that you can do. So having them in a sit stay and calling them to you where they are prepared, they're not really distracted, they're usually kind of waiting on it. This is a really good first step to do over and over and over. Lincoln, come! So he is anticipating me calling him, and then when he comes, he's going to get rewarded big time. He's going to get a ton of little treats. I'm going to feed him and feed him. Now, the treats are really little, so it's not like he's filling up on treats, but he's thinking he's getting bank here because all he did was come when I called him. And then a big part of this is, okay, now I have him, right? Do I put his leash on him? No. When you're playing this game, you make sure you call and let them go back to what they were doing. Go play for a little while. Don't only use, go play. Don't only call them when it's time to go inside or time to put the leash back on, or because then it's like, yeah, maybe I don't want to come to you. Call them randomly when you're sitting on the couch. Call them over to you. When they come, give them some treats. Let them go back to what they were doing. Doing this throughout the day is going to develop a trigger in their brain to realize when my mom calls, I go, or dad or whoever, I go to them and I am rewarded. And so it puts this thing like, oh, I'm being called, I need to go because, I'm going to get rewarded for it. So making sure you are happy, you are praising them, you are giving them treats is huge. Don't get caught, so to speak, with your pants down. Don't call them and have absolutely nothing. If you have nothing, you better throw a huge freaking party for them. You better be praising them and just going nuts, because you have to make sure they realize when they come to you, it is going to be fun. Something good is going to happen, because otherwise, why the heck do they want to come to you, So that is the first step. So doing this step over and over and over and over is huge. It really is huge in the beginning of getting them to want to come to you. Now, he's going the opposite way, okay? If I were to call him and he would continue, now he probably won't, but if your dog, when they get loose and you call them and they're going the opposite way and you start to yell and run towards them, what do they usually do? They usually run. Now, Lincoln, yes, come. Now, did I call him right there? No, I did not, but he was coming to me, so why not use it? He was coming to do his little check-in, which a lot of dogs will do. So use it. It's an easy win. It's one that, you don't have to work very hard. He was already coming, so might as well take advantage of that. Okay, go play. So when your dog gets loose and you're trying to catch them, they're running the opposite way, and it's instinct to say, Lincoln, and start yelling at him and running after him. Well, then what do? They usually run faster, farther. They think it's a freaking fun game. But what you want to do, and I'm going to try to get this, I'm probably going to pause and flip my video around so that you can hopefully see what he does. I'm going to try to get a little farther away from him actually though before I do it, because he kind of knows what's going on here. Go play, please. Go play. If I were to run after him when he is going already, and let's say Lincoln, it wasn't Lincoln, it was another dog, and they're like, woohoo, she's chasing me, this is fun, great, dandy. I'm going to turn my camera around, I'm going to show you what to do. Okay, I'm going to have it where you can hopefully see what's going on behind me. I'm going to start running or walking fast the opposite way. Lincoln, come! What happens? Oh, yes, good boy. He comes to me because it's like, oh, what are you doing? Where are you going? Oh, that looks like fun. I'll chase her. When they start to chase you and you get them to you, you grab their collar first, okay? Now, I didn't with him, but you grab that collar. Then after you grab that collar, and you put them on their leash or whatever you're gonna do, then you feed, okay? But make sure to grab that collar first so that you don't lose them again. So I know this is gonna feel weird. Running away from your dog when they're loose is really an odd feeling. Trust me, I know. When I first started this and I was told to do this, I was like, are you kidding me? And when I tried to do it the first time, I was like, no, that doesn't work. Oh, but it does. Like, I tell you, I was amazed that my dog all of a sudden turned and ran to me. I mean, right to me where I could grab their leash and feed them and reward them. And all they thought they were doing was playing a little game. So that is the key. If they get loose, get out. Make sure you don't chase them, because it's not gonna, usually it ends up in you being frustrated and they think you're playing a game. So make sure you run the opposite direction, and when you're running you can say, Lincoln, come, oh my gosh, come here, get all excited and make them think that this is going to be a great game to play. So that is a key. Come on, Lincoln. There are birds all over this field. They're little killdeer, and their nests are in the ground. And if you don't know, Lincoln is a German short hair pointer, which is a bird hunting dog. He doesn't hunt them or anything, but birds sometimes definitely distract him, kind of like squirrels distract my other dog and distract most dogs. He could care less about squirrels. He likes birds. Okay, so that's my first trick. Now, the second thing we're gonna get into. Just a second, I gotta flip my camera back around. I'm just gonna make a sound. I'm hiding from him. Now, he's really good at this game because he can use his nose like amazingly. Yes, good boy! So I caught him. Yes, good boy. When he was kind of off doing his thing, playing, I ran and I hid. There's lots of like hills and things over here, and so I'm kind of like hidden between a couple little hills, and all I did was make a sound. When you make a sound, now I suggest doing this in your home first because it's just easier to do. You can have them, one of your family members hold them, and then you can go hide, and then you just make one sound, and they will come find you. Now if they can't find you within 30 seconds or something of that one sound, make another sound, and eventually they will come and find you. Can you help me out of this big old bush that I'm in, Ninky boy? He says no, because you dropped a treat on the ground and I want to get it. Okay. So as you can see where the trail is, I was hiding right over here where there's these multiple little hills. I ain't dare going down in that thing because I'm sure there's some animals or bees nests or something down there. I'm going down there because I don't want to get some little critter running out telling me I'm sitting on their home, or a snake, or I don't know. There's some stuff in these bushes. I'm sure of it. So that is the first game that is something I want you to start out with doing, okay? So, sorry about that. Covered up the camera. So what I want you to do to start with, this is probably going to be a 2 video, one this week, one next week, because this is not something that happens overnight. It takes a year to get a really, really reliable recall to where no matter what they're doing, you can get them to come to you. So first, have them in a stay and calling them to you. Reward, reward, reward. 30 seconds, okay? My trainer calls it fine dining. And this means like, okay, let's say McDonald's. That's one little treat. Now, fine dine them is 30 seconds, a 5-course meal with a ton of little treats. 30 seconds of little treats coming their way and praises coming their way, okay? So fine dine them. Do it when you're in the house, when you're sitting watching TV and they're off either playing around, sleeping, doing whatever. Call them to you, fine dine them, let them go back to what they're doing. Also, make sure you don't only call them when it's time to go inside, when it's time to stop playing, when it's time to go back on the leash, whatever, because you want them to make sure coming to you is a fun thing. And of course, that you will have to call them when it's time for those things as well, and you still want to reward and everything, but don't only do it during those times, okay? Second, make sure if you're out with them and you see them coming to you, take advantage of that. Use it. Call them while they're coming to you and treat them, because in their brain, they're not putting together, oh, I was already coming. No, all they think of, oh, I just got treated because I came to her again. So make sure you take advantage of those, setting them up for success. Don't do it in the beginning, in the middle of when they're playing with another dog, when they're smelling something they're really interested in. You don't want to set them up for failure. Set them up for success in places you know that they can succeed at first, okay? Now, in the beginning of his training, I would not have played hide and seek out in this big field because it would have been too hard. Doing it in a house where, it's close quarters, he knows that I have to be in there somewhere, is a much better place to start out with, okay? So make sure, so that's the other thing, play hide and seek. Do it, a couple times a day. It doesn't take much time. My trainer also, Stephanie, she always says 3 minutes a day. You will have an amazingly trained dog if you just worked them 3 minutes a day. That's not very much out of your time. 3 minutes, 3 times a day, even better, okay? But you don't want to spend an hour with your dog 4 or 5 times a day. Even once a day, an hour straight's a lot in the beginning for your dog. So those are the things that you want to start with. Make sure you also, like I said, don't get caught with your pants down, because you don't want to call them and have nothing. If you do call them and you have nothing, make sure you throw a dang frickin' party, okay? Make sure you're rewarding them, you're excited, you're acting like they just did something absolutely amazing. Because I had it happen. I remember in the beginning, Stephanie told me that, don't get caught with your pants down, and I did. And so I now pretty much always have treats in my pockets. Like almost always. People laugh at me sometimes because I'll run into a dog and I'll be like, oh, can they have a treat? I won't even have my dogs with me, and I'll pull a treat out and they're like, you have treats in your pockets? Like, I always have treats in my pockets. So those are the things that are really, really, really important in the beginning of getting a reliable recall. Now remember, if your dog gets away from you, if they run out of your house, and you normally chase them around the block for an hour before you finally get them, stop doing that. Remember, you go out, act all hyper excited, call them, and start running the other way. I swear to you, it'll feel really weird, but it really does work. Because most of the times when you're running for your dog, in their head, they're not thinking, oh, I gotta get away from her. No, they're thinking, ooh, they're chasing me. This is fun. Like, they think you're playing a game with them. So don't do it. Don't play that game with them. Go the other way, run from them, play that game, because they will play with you and you'll get your dog. Make sure you grab them, leash them, whatever you got to do first, then reward, reward, reward. Okay? So these are your first steps in this game. I am going to show you real quick how to, if you don't have a second person, if your dog doesn't have a stay yet, or if you don't have a second person to hold your dog when you're having them, 20 feet from you and calling them, I'm going to show you a way that you can do that on your own. So as soon as I get back to my house, I can show you that. And so we will go from there. And then, yeah, this is going to be about it for today's video. So I will see you in just a few minutes. I keep forgetting my camera's on that side and I keep covering it up. But, okay, so I will see you when we get to my house. We're back at our apartment complex. Now you can do this at your apartment, you can do this at your house, wherever you live. Find something, first of all, you need to have a long lead, okay? So 15, 20 feet or something. They are pretty inexpensive. You can find them at any pet store. And then the only other thing you need is your dog and treats, a tree, a pole, a rail, anything that you can use that's sturdy, okay? I am going to actually come over. I was going to use a treat, but I think I'm going to use the railing we have over here. Okay, I'm going to flip my camera just a second. So he's hooked up to the long lead. I'm going to put it through there, or you can put it like around a tree, or anything like that. You're gonna grab the other end. Now again, this is if your dog doesn't have a stay and you don't have another person to help you out. So he's already wanting to come to me, but he's not gonna be able to. So I have the end of this and I'm gonna pull him. So he has to go back towards there. Okay, do you see that? So again, you don't have to have a second person. Now my lead is only 15 feet. I do suggest getting one that's at least 20 feet because it just makes this easier. I've never had to do it this way really because I've always had a second person, a kid, someone around. But so all you do is exactly this, and then you let it go, and Lincoln, come. Yes, good boy. And you treat. Okay, so it's as easy as that, you guys. It's not a hard thing. It's just a little trick if you don't have somebody to hold their leash and they don't have a good enough stay that you can put them in that stay to work on their recall. Okay, so you don't want to be working on their stay at the same time as their recall, because then they're going to get confused as to what the treats are for, if they're getting the treat because they stayed, or if, you know. So don't worry about it. If they don't have a good stay, just do this, or have somebody else hold their leash until you call them, and then they can drop the leash and the dog can come running to you. That's such a good boy. Okay, so that's all you do. I'm not going to do it again, but I will show you. It's just as easy to do it. Let's say you don't have any kind of a pole in your yard. Sorry, I just probably made y'all seasick. Or motion sick. Just put it around this tree like this. Okay? Just put it around the tree. Come on, Lincoln. Come this way. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Come here, Lincoln. I don't suggest yanking them and pulling them to the tree. He's like, what are you doing? Come here. He's like, why am I coming to the tree? Come here. Good. Now stay. Okay. So he's at the tree. You want to make sure you go at an angle that they can't just run around the other side. Most dogs won't figure that out super fast, that they can just run around the other side. So you have it. You call them. Lincoln, come. Come here. You're not stuck to it anymore. Come. Come on. He says, I got to pull against this tree. Are you kidding me? That's a good boy. Okay, so that is as simple as it gets. Now, I had somebody message me asking me what kind of treats I use. And I use some different treats. When I get in the house, I will show you one of the ones I use that I really like, because it's not super expensive. And it's just duck, and it's really good. A lot of dogs are actually, one of the number one things dogs are allergic to is chicken. So I try to steer clear of chicken, especially with him, because he gets real itchy. Okay, come on. Try to stay clear of chicken, just because he does get real itchy. Now Maya, she can have the chicken. It doesn't bother her at all. So anyways, so I will show you the treats I use, but somebody said using little tiny treats and doing, you know, a lot of training, that they can't afford it. And they asked if they could use their kibble. And absolutely, you guys, you can totally use the kibble. However, I'm gonna say this. Lincoln, come on, Baba. He's back eating the grass that he, like, absolutely loves. Anyways, the thing with kibble is that a lot of dogs don't get super excited about it, because it's just kibble, and they get it all the time, and it's not necessarily a real special thing. So I do have a suggestion for if you want to use kibble, and this is a super inexpensive way to do it. Okay, so if you buy hot dogs, and you can buy like the cheapest hot dogs really you want, it doesn't really matter, and then you take the hot dog juice, you pour it in to about 2 cups of kibble, mix it around so that the juice is on all of the kibble, and put it in the refrigerator for like at least a few hours. Okay, so the kibble is going to soak up that hot dog juice, and it's going to make your kibble taste like hot dogs. And then dogs go crazy for it. It's cheap. It's not hard on their stomach, because some dogs have a really sensitive stomach, and they can really only use, they can't really eat much treats because it's harmful to their tummies, and then you have a mess sometimes. So you can do this. The other thing that I do with my dogs, and they love, is we make tuna in our house somewhat regularly. And so I take that tuna juice, I pour it in to a bag of kibble, I mix it up, put it in the fridge. It soaks it up, and it kind of expands the kibble, makes the kibble kind of a soft treat. It doesn't get messy or gross, and you can break the kibble into smaller pieces even, and I do that. But then it makes your kibble taste like tuna. So it is an excellent way to feed them inexpensively while you're training, And also for those dogs that have a really sensitive tummy, you can do this because then they're basically just getting their kibble and some juice. It doesn't really bother them. So that is just a little tip. When I get in the house, I'll show you the bag of treats that I have been using lately because they really do like it. Pupperoni is pretty inexpensive, and I do use it sometimes because it doesn't have chicken in it, believe it or not. And so I use that a lot because my dogs do like it, but I don't use it regularly because it isn't the healthiest of options for them. I do tend to try to use something that's a little bit healthier, something that their bodies can actually use than, you know, just some crap filler stuff that they like. So I'll go inside and show you that, and that is gonna wrap up our video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will answer them as quick as I can. If I can't answer them, I will try to find that answer out for you, or hook you up with somebody that can answer your questions. So remember, I am not a certified trainer. I just have been training with a certified trainer for quite a while now. She has taught me so much for working for her. And so I am just passing on some useful information your way that hopefully will really help you and your dog have a happier, more restful, relaxing time, and that you can enjoy your dog rather than just getting stressed out and irritated with things, because trust me, I've been there. So I hope you guys have a great day. Even if it's cloudy and crappy where you are, don't forget, keep on shining yourself and make it a beautiful day. Bye guys.